Hi everyone, it is Achia here at Booking with Achia, and today we're getting into a book mail haul. These are the 22 books sent to me by publishers and authors, and I want to chit chat about them. Some of them are backlists, some of them are new releases, upcoming releases, and before we get into it, I do want to encourage you to check out my bonfire and my Etsy shop to get yourself some merch and some bookmarks with stickers coming this spring. And if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, you might want to consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. And let's get into it. The first one being a nonfiction, and that is It's No Wonder, The Life and Times of Motown's legendary songwriter Sylvia Moy. And this is by Margena, a Christian. And again, I feel like nonfiction does such a great job, especially with these subtitles, of telling you what the book is about. But I'll read the little blurb. The biography of Sylvia Moy, Motown's first certified female in-house producer and songwriter, and one of the authors behind classic hits like My Sherry Amore, Uptight, Everything's All Right, and a slew of other time-honored tunes. Okay. Imagine a world without the music of Stevie Wonder. A world without hits like I Was Made to Love Her and Shooby Doo Be Doo Da Day. That's the world we would live in if it had not been for Sylvia Moy, a woman whose legacy has been carefully tucked away within the annals of music history until now. It's No Wonder examines the groundbreaking career of the pioneer who battled sexism and broke down barriers to become Motown's first certified female in-house songwriter and producer. As a lone woman in a room full of men, the odds were stacked against Moy from the start. Amid racial strife at the height of the civil rights movement, most African American women who were allowed into the music industry could only dream of a career as a singer. Nevertheless, the Detroit native found unprecedented success as both a songwriter and a producer. Very excited. I mean, I did not know about her, and so I always love when we bring forgotten Black women to the forefront and share their legacy and their history. So thank you so much to Da Capo for this finished copy. The second book I have here is actually another nonfiction, and it is Who's Watching Shorty, Reshona Landfair, and it is reclaiming myself from the shame of R. Kelly's abuse. Who's Watching Shorty is a fearless, timely memoir about one of the most high-profile cases of a generation. Reshona Landfair, known as Jane Doe when she testified at R. Kelly's trial, was a 14-year-old girl in the child pornography video that ultimately led to racketeering and sex trafficking convictions and a 30-year prison sentence for the R&B star. No one in Landfair's world was looking out for her interests or trying to protect her from someone who was a known or at least rumored predator. The people who should have stood up for her, from her family to music business executives to social services to law enforcement, all looked the other way, blinded by his fame and celebrity. That's the story that hasn't been told, and that Reshona is finally ready to recount in her own words. I do plan on reading this at some point this year, hopefully in the second quarter. So yeah, and thank you to Legacy Lit for this finished copy. Then we have How Simi Got Her Groove Back by Sonali Dev. Sisters are great for healing, even if they're a real pain. Two sisters, one fake marriage, zero chance of keeping the truth hidden. The Knight sisters escaped their traumatic past in Mumbai to come to the States, but their journeys have been vastly different. Simi is working toward a bright future as a pediatric nurse in a small town in Kentucky when Rupi shows up at her door in distress, on the run, and as always, dragging trouble in her wake. With Rupi's safety in jeopardy, the sisters hatch a desperate plan to keep her in the country. Ruby must get married, and fast, even if it means Simi recruiting the man she's been secretly dating as her sister's groom. A perfect plan? Not quite, but there's aren't many alternatives. As the big day inches closer, Simi and Rupi face a storm of wedding shenanigans and romantic surprises, not to mention sisterly jealousies. As the stakes and the tensions rise, will their secrets tear them apart, or will they find a way to risk everything for love? Super excited. I love shenanigans. And thank you to Lake Union for this finished copy. Then we have Sibylline by Melissa de la Cruz. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, from the cover to the sprayed edges, and then also the naked book, like the end pages. Well, okay, it's really just the end pages are gorgeous. Raven, Atticus, and Dorian have dreamed of attending Sibylline for as long as they can remember. But when the magical Ivy League University rejects them, the friends plan for a future studying the arcane together begin crashing down until they decide to steal an education. Getting jobs on campus, they sneak into lectures and swipe forbidden checks, dodging the administration's watchful eye. In the quiet of night, in the thrill of secrecy, their magic awakens, and so do long buried attractions that turn their friendship into something more. But like magic, love can create and it can destroy. As unrequited feelings and resentment threaten to fracture their bond, the trio discovers an insidious magic that has sunk its claws into Sibylline, killing students and corroding the very bones of the university. Now the three intruders may be the key to saving the institution from wreckage if they don't wreck one another first. And thank you to Putnam for this gorgeous finished copy. Next up, we have two from Scribner. The first one being How to Hold Someone in Your Heart by Mizuki Tsujimura, translated by Yuki Tejima. And this is actually the sequel to Lost Souls Meet Under a Full Moon. So I'm not going to read the synopsis because I, one, don't want to spoil it for you, and also haven't read the first one yet. And I don't want to spoil it for myself, but very excited about this. And also, the coverage is so much fun. And then the second book we have from Scribner is an advanced reader copy of On Witness and Despair by Jesmyn Ward. The collected creative nonfiction of a singular American writer, Jesmyn Ward, including widely shared classics, 3 never before published speeches, and an introductory essay. Despair, noun obsolete. Fresh hope after despair. From the 2-time National Book Award winner and New York Times bestselling author Jesmyn Ward, this collection of essays documents a decade of work in the life of a writer often lauded as the heir apparent to Toni Morrison. Beginning with her upbringing in a multi-generational household in rural Mississippi, the cradle of both her youth and her gift for storytelling, Ward brings her keen wisdom and hauntingly lyrical prose to a range of topics, following in her grandmother Dorothy's footsteps when she promises always to tell it straight, tell it all. True to her word, in these pages, Ward contemplates the writers and novels of her youth and adulthood, the transformative power of discovering Octavia Butler as a 20-something, the mirror that Richard Wright's novels held up to her own childhood, and of course, her lifelong love for Toni Morrison. Ward ruminates on her approach to both fiction and life, reflecting on the power of the novel, how to raise a Black son in an era of rising divisiveness and cruelty, as well as her own personal tragedies, including the titular essay of the collection, which tells the story of her partner's sudden death on the eve of the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh my goodness. Every bit as piercing and moving as her fiction, On Witness and Despair is a testament to Ward's powers as one of America's finest living writers, and as a monument to hope, beauty, and personal and collective resilience. Wow. And this actually comes out in May. That's intense. And thank you to Scribner for both of these. Then we have a YA romance, Love Makes Mochi by Stefany Valentine. And it says Lily Jeong is about to live her best life. She's spending the whole summer in Tokyo, learning from a legendary yet notoriously terrifying tailor. Getting a glowing recommendation from Mrs. Matsumoto could be Lillian's ticket into her dream fashion school. So when Lillian is tasked with designing an entire collection, panic sets in. She has only weeks to create 3 show-stopping yukatas with her signature goth twist. Luckily, Mrs. Matsumoto's rebellious, tattooed, and rainbow-haired daughter, Yua, offers to help. Flirting with this cute girl is way easier than sewing yukatas, but can Lillian find a path forward in fashion and love, or will she watch as everything falls apart at the seams? And thank you to Electric Postcard for sending me this finished copy. Then we have This Ain't a First Rodeo by Liara Tamani, and it says 1 junior bull riding champion, 1 restaurant heiress, 1 wild ride, 2 chances at love. 3 years have slipped by since Josie's and Sean's worlds first collided beneath the glittering lights of the Rodeo Houston Carnival, since that sweet stolen moment when it felt like nothing could ever come between them. 4, 5, 6 miles of rope, winding through regret, secrets, heated kisses, and tangled loyalties after they've lassoed back together. Will they dare to forgive each other and risk everything to save Josie's family land, or will Sean's stepdad and his shady schemes spell the ranch's final ruin? 7 seconds of heart-stopping bucks, twists, and turns. 8. Can Sean and Josie hold on? Luckily, this ain't their first rodeo. That's such a fun way to do a synopsis. That's great. Thank you to Epic Reads for this finished copy. Then from Holiday House, we have a graphic novel, and it is Korobá, The Case of the Missing Kolo by Àlàbá Ònájìn. And I'm trying to see, where's the synopsis? Here we go. A charismatic young sleuth takes on a case close to home in this new graphic novel series in the vein of Cam Jansen and Encyclopedia Brown. 10-year-old Korobá knows everyone in Makoko, the Nigerian fishing village where she lives. She knows her way up and down the bright, colorful waterways, knows where to sell fried shrimp, and knows what to look for at the crowded daily market. Makoko is her playground, and she roams free with her best friends, Saidat and Joba, and her adorable dog, Poppy. The last thing Korobá would expect in Makoko is a thief, yet Saidat's wooden piggy bank, her Kolo, has been stolen. The children of Makoko save coins in their Kolos all year long, waiting to spend the money at the annual harvest festival. Saidat saved and saved, but now she will have nothing. It's not fair. Korobá knows what good detectives do, sort of. Should the primary suspect be Saidat's grumpy cousin visiting on vacation, or could it be the village carpenter who has been doing some work on Saidat's house? It's up to Detective Korobá to catch the thief and find the missing Kola before breaking day. Buckle up, budding mystery fans. It's time to join Korobá and friends on their thrilling chase for the culprit. With rich, detailed illustrations reminiscent of the adventures of Tintin and featuring some very important clues, this one-of-a-kind graphic novel series brings a vibrant African community to life. I love a mystery in all forms, so I'm very excited about this one. And the artwork is also very fun. Thank you to Holiday House for this finished copy. Then we have an arc of The Language of Liars by S.L. Huang. And this says, speak another people's language, know them, become them, and discover you've destroyed them. In his training as a spy, Roe was warned, you will always be living a lie. Jumping into a Star Eater's mind in the first place requires a moment of perfect psychic connection, and he has studied all his life to comprehend their species, admires them, respects them, is reverent at the idea of being one of them, the only species physiologically capable of mining the element needed for light year spanning space travel. The species all others crave to know more of, but who have notoriously shared so very little. The species Roe's own small civilization, with its dwindling resources and withering reach, needs to know more about. It will feel real, his elders impress upon him. It will never be real. But Rose certainly runs deep. He will be different. Roe will not be an impostor hiding the truth of his past, because his heart will be one of them. He will be one of them. To understand is to become. It never occurs to him that the mere act of understanding can destroy. I've been waiting for this. This is the author of The Water Outlaws, which I absolutely loved. And so very much looking forward to reading more from this author. Thank you so much to Tor.com for this arc. The next set of books is actually all from Simon Kids. They reached out and asked if I wanted a Black History Month box celebrating Black authors and Black stories, and I was like, of course, send it. And so that is what we're about to get into, starting with Ida B. Wells, journalist, advocate, and crusader for justice by Erica Armstrong, Dunbar, and Candace Buford. It says, when she stepped off the train in New Jersey, Ida B. Wells learned that she would never be able to return to Memphis, Tennessee. She had a target on her back, and returning home would put her life in danger. She was being punished for simply doing what she was born to do, tell the truth. Her fiery articles in the newspaper, the Memphis Free Speech, exposed the racism and violence of the South, and now there was a bounty on her head. After she learned her fate, Ida wrote, I felt that one had better die fighting against injustice than to die like a dog or a rat in a trap. Born enslaved in Mississippi and raised in the dawn of freedom, Ida B. Wells spent her life teaching, writing, and speaking out against injustice. As a journalist, lecturer, and advocate, she led activist organizations and strove to right societal wrongs, all in the hope of forging a better world for her children. That's that one. Then we have Venus Washington and the Lasagna Drama by Maisha Osho, illustrated by Courtney Lovett. Why does that name sound familiar? I don't know. This is the cover. It's actually an early reader. Meet Venus Washington. She's not sure why her parents named her that since she was born on Earth, and she's never been to Washington. Her favorite food is cotton candy, but after that, it's definitely lasagna. Yummy, gooey, cheesy lasagna. Grandma makes the best lasagna. Venus wants to know her super delicious recipe until Grandpa lets it slip that Grandma put her foot in lasagna. Could the secret ingredient be toes? Yuck. With the help of her BFF Summer, her WEF, worst enemy forever, Winter, and her super smart pet hamster burger. Interesting. Venus sets out to save her family from the worst secret ingredient ever. Oh, that's cute. Then we have Kin, Rooted in Hope by Carol Boston Weatherford, art by Jeffrey Boston Weatherford. In searing poems and stunning art, Carol Boston Weatherford and her son, Jeffrey Boston Weatherford, tell the deeply moving story of their family tree, a history shaped by enslavement and freedom. Oh, that's so cool. This is like the inside. So poetry, there's some artwork too, if I can just get to a page. There we go. It's so cool. And so inventive. Then we have a board book, and it says, it is Beautiful Blackbird. Black is Beautiful, a tale from the Isla-speaking people of Zambia about the appreciation of one's own heritage and beauty comes alive through Ashley Bryan's poetic texts and illustrations in this classic board book. Oh, I love that the babies are getting this. Oh, look at that. I absolutely love the colors used and everything. Next up, another board book is Your Special Voice by Temi Adamolekun, illustrated by Keisha Okafor. It says you can use your own special voice to make a difference in the world. This is the inside. Again, really loving the colors. Then we have a stack of picture books. The first one being Hair Story by Sope Martins, illustrated by Brianna Mukudiri Uchendu. And it says joy, power, vastness, cultures, tradition, heritage, Africa, crowns, adorned, resilience, darkest times, brightest times, history. My story, your story, hair story. There's a reason it's called Our Crowning Glory. The artwork in here is absolutely incredible. I mean, just like so beautiful. I flipped through it when it first came in with my partner. I need to go back and read the words, but I'm very much looking forward to this one. Then we have Solway by Lupita Nyong'o, illustrated by Vashti Harrison. Solway has skin the color of midnight. She is darker than everyone in her family. She is darker than anyone in her school. Solway just wants to be beautiful and bright like her mother and sister. Then a magical journey in the night sky opens her eyes and changes everything. In the stunning debut picture book, Academy Award-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o creates a whimsical and heartwarming story that will inspire children to see their own unique beauty. Then we have one that I actually bought from the library 2 years ago and loved and always wanted to add to my collection, so I was super excited. And that is There Was a Party for Langston, King of Letters. And it is by Jason Reynolds with art by Jerome Pumphrey and Jarrett Pumphrey. You are invited to the most marvelous party for the most marvelous man, a man who turned the alphabet into thump-a-bump, who turned words into jazz, into rivers, into bustin' a move. All of his word children will be there, because it's a party for Langston. Langston Hughes, King of Letters, Renaissance man. So don't be shy. Come on in to the hoopla in Harlem. Everyone is welcome. This is such a good book. Then we have Where They Gather, written by Teresa Rodriguez, illustrated by Jamiel Law. Roots take hold and settle in, creeping far and free. They make their home in rocky ground, a dream of what will be. Here they hope together. This lyrical and gorgeous time-lapse story celebrates a Black family's strength and resilience through the generations. Oh, wow. Look at that. Next up, we have On Her Wings, the story of Toni Morrison, written by Jardine Nolan, illustrated by James E. Ransom. Born Chloe Ardelia Wofford in Ohio, Toni Morrison was a listener before she was a reader or a writer. Her eyes lit up when she heard her grandfather tell stories or when her mother sang her songs all day or told her tales. In high school, she worked at the public library and could be found surrounded by glorious books. After picking up the nickname Toni in college, she became a mother and an editor. And when she couldn't find stories about people like her, she decided to write them herself. Jardine Nolan, inspired by the writer in her words, tells Toni Morrison's story, and James E. Ransom's radiant paintings glow as they illustrate Toni Morrison's world. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's beautiful. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we have another one that I read approximately 2 years ago, and another one that I wanted to add to my collection, and that is Fighting with Love, The Legacy of John Lewis, written by Lisa Klein Ransom and illustrated by James E. Ransom. Get in Good Trouble, Necessary Trouble, John Lewis. John Lewis was born into love, surrounded by his mama, Willie Mae, his daddy, Eddie, and his 9 brothers and sisters. But when he went with his daddy to downtown Troy, Alabama as a boy, he saw 2 towns. He and his daddy had to eat standing up outdoors instead of sitting down at the lunch counter, and they had to drink from the rusty water spigot instead of from the whites only fountain. One Sunday morning, the words of a young preacher named Martin Luther King Jr. came across the radio. For the first time, John heard the word segregation. At that moment, John decided to take a stand for what he knew was right. He joined with others, and word spread. John wanted to make change with love. He was guided by his heart in his own words: hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Award-winning author and illustrator Lisa Klein Ransom and James E. Ransom tell the story of beloved civil rights activist John Lewis, a towering hero of the civil rights movement whose legacy of fighting with love lives on today. Here's some of the artwork inside. Finally excited to have this as part of my collection. And then the last book we have in this haul is Nani and the Lion. I just love the artwork on this one. And it's written by Alicia D. Williams and illustrated by Anna Kanha. Oh, how Nani loves to drum. When she drums, sunbirds chirp chirp, honey badgers brah brah, and everyone in the land begins to dance and dance and dance until, Lion, king of the land, can't stand noise. Anything louder than a peep sends him into a fury, and now he's furious at Nani. But her love of drumming beats louder than her fear. She simply has to outsmart Lion and drum up an idea most clever. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh. But yeah, those are the, I don't even know, is this 11 books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 books from Simon Kids and Simon Teens. Thank you so much to them. And that is it in terms of book mail that I received during the month of February. Thank you so much once again to the publishers for sending me this most delectable, delicious haul of books. And let me know which ones you're excited about. Have you read any of these already? The ones that are already out in the world. Make sure to check out my Bonfire as well as my Etsy shop. And if you would like to support the channel on a monthly basis, you might want to consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. Also, make sure to check out my Read Your Library and Readathon announcement video, which just dropped fairly recently. And I will see you in another video. Bye! Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.